Hello and welcome to episode 198 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wolves 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter. 5 stars on Spotify, please. And YouTube. Please subscribe and tell a friend.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, everyone.
Harry, we'll start with Premier League action. Tottenham, Harry Kane once again popped up and saved Spurs blushes. To be honest, I think the starting 11 for Wolves took a lot of people by surprise, most of all us probably. Nunes, Neves, Moutinho in that midfield, Aït-Nouri, Neto, Johnny, Collins, Kilman, Podence and Guedes as well. So very, very strong side. I think many people were very happy with that.
Yeah, and I think when we were discussing it last week, I think we all thought it might be the 4-2-3-1. And a lot of people said in the comments, and I think we mentioned it, the 4-3-3 would also be great, especially with Nunes coming in. And we played really well, didn't we? Especially first half. And I think that midfield three, especially first half, really stood out. They've got, the 3 quality players there. And I think we bettered Tottenham's midfield for a lot of the game, especially early on as well.
Dan, it was a game of 2 halves. I think I saw one comment on Twitter saying if we can take Bruno Lage's first halves and then Nuno's second halves, we've been one hell of a team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought we were superb first half. When we went down into the concourse at half time, everyone was sort of saying how good it was. And totally agree. I thought we were the better of Tottenham. The crux of it was we just don't seem to have that killer instinct in that final third. Played some really nice football, especially, as you said, through the midfield. It was sharp, it was quick. Nunes looked very comfortable on the ball. Neves had a lot of it. And we had a lot of possession at the same time, but just getting into the box, we didn't quite. I think Nunes had a really good chance, a little dinked on header that just went wide of the post. We had another couple of pop shots that sort of went just wide, but looked really smart. It's just, I don't think the subs did enough to change the game. Well, they clearly didn't because we went on to lose 1-0. But we just didn't quite have enough to go and really change it and get an equaliser or go on to win it when we should have really been 1, maybe even 2 up at half time. Sarr made a couple of very good saves. Slightly disappointed leaving the ground. You sort of think that was there for Wolves to take something home from, and we didn't. And it's all through lack of threat. I thought Raul didn't do too badly, but didn't really have too many chances. He had one that maybe he could have done a bit with, but difficult. We just need to find that killer instinct to just go and get a goal. And I mean, I'll let you guys talk for a bit and go back to what I thought. I thought we didn't do a hell of a lot wrong. They were always going to have a couple of chances playing at home in front of their lot. We should have taken something, really. Honestly. Even talking to Tottenham fans walking back to the station, having a beer and stuff. Wolves were good for a point there, at least.
Harry, I think there probably would have been times previous seasons that Wolves probably would have come away with something, and the record at Spurs certainly suggested that would be the case. Does it show how much Wolves have improved in terms of transfer window and people coming back from suspension? Because Bruno Lage made 5 changes in that game, and when we think back to that Leeds game where he made 1, and that was sort of in the dying embers of the match against Leeds. Do you think that puts the club in a better position because there are now those players available and all of a sudden the bench is looking better and shouldn't be too disheartened from what I think will be somebody challenging for the top 3 potentially in Spurs?
Yeah, definitely. And I was going into it, I was kind of nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. But like you mentioned, the bench looked strong. The starting lineup was strong, and we performed a lot better than I thought, and especially first half. And I was really baffled by what I was seeing when I looked online, like from people saying things like, obviously everyone was crying out about the lack of goals, but Raul come on, I thought he did okay. But Nunes was a big positive because obviously Neto, they pointed out a lot on BT Sport. Neto was doing a lot of defensive work, wasn't he? So he was coming back a lot, which allowed him to fly forward. And Bayliss has already mentioned, like, he nearly slayed that header into the corner, didn't he? That one when it come in. So there was a lot of positives there. And I think when they all start to gel, which probably won't take long because they all bloody play with each other, don't they? Was it the amount of Portuguese players we've got in the bloody team? But I think once we've gelled and now Raul's back and hopefully he can be fully fit and be a starter up there, and maybe we're going to get a backup striker in. I honestly think we're going to be fine. I know we've only drew one of the first 3, but the signs are there. A bit like last season when the signs were there that we were showing a lot of good play. I think we're going to be absolutely fine, and I think our signings will be great.
The only thing that really worries me is we could have played for a week Saturday and not scored one. You just got that feeling we ain't getting one.
I thought Neves' free kick had gone in. I was up and cheering. I thought it just sailed past him. So I don't know. Yeah, one of those. But same old situation and what it has been for since Jota left, potentially, where we're saying we're crying out for someone who's going to bag some goals. We just don't seem to have that threat.
Yeah, I mean, Tottenham did get quite deep after they scored, which made it very difficult for us. I don't know. There's a comment in at the moment about us taking too many touches. We didn't really have much choice when they had 10 behind the ball most of the time after they scored. So we were chasing the game a bit. I mean, my real worries or things I'd moan about after losing 1-0 is Traore, utter waste of space. I know he scored a banger in midweek and everyone's watching that on the YouTube, but utter waste of space. If that's why he wants to play in the Premier League, he can go now.
Is it in terms of attitude or ability? Or both?
Just a couple of things. He just looked lazy. He looked like he was only going to go for a run when he fancied it. There was one where Raul wanted to play the 1-2. A normal Traore, you'd expect bombing down the wing, and he's still 10 yards the other side of the halfway line. It was just, you could tell he didn't fancy it.
I thought there were times, actually, where you think, oh, right, Kate, Raul's, he's got the ball. Let's see. Go on, try and get it off him. And then he didn't go anywhere. And it's just like, I don't know what's going on there. Do you know, Harry? Do you think he's trying to push something through before the window? Because if he doesn't move before the window, it's probably all but confirmed that he won't be going to the World Cup. Not that he would have been particularly anyway, but he needs to work himself into plans somehow. And by being lethargic on the halfway line isn't the way to go, is it?
Yeah, and it was similar in the Fulham game, wasn't it, when he come on? It's just, I think because we have so much high expectations of him when he does come off the bench, because that's probably where he's most effective for us. But honestly, it's weird when we do podcasts like this, because obviously he had a good goal against Preston, but he's got to show more, and maybe just intrinsically he's got that lack of motivation because he got long left on his deal, and like you say, is he staying? Is he going? He probably will stay. But it's annoying because someone of his ability, he should be coming on and making a huge difference, and he's got to improve that really if he wants to be in and around the squad. And he's a professional. He's got to do better.
The other thing that I haven't really seen been picked up on yet by anyone, not that I've listened to all the other socials quite yet, but Spurs targeted Aït-Nouri. That was their game plan.
First half as well, yeah.
And all through the game. And that's where they got their goal from in the end. Down that channel, down that line, forced the corner. Their man got in front for the flick on, and Collins had lost Kane.
I was going to say,
I thought Aït-Nouri didn't play that badly. It was just that he got targeted so many times that eventually you're going to get beaten.
Felt vulnerable, didn't it? Every time they attacked down that side, every time.
I thought he was the weak link of the starting 11 by a mile. Not that means that he is particularly bad. I'm just saying that, like Dan said, that's where they're going to target in terms of their attacking. But I thought Nathan Collins, Harry, had actually saying how good he was and how assured he looked just before the corner. And it is a split second that he just takes his eye off Kane. And for someone like Kane, you don't score 185 Premier League goals without knowing where the net is. And he'll do every trick in the book, and he's dug them out so many times before. But you've got to say, it's just a class act.
You can't let a ball come into there.
Yeah, it's the thing with Kane. We mentioned before on last week's podcast, he's always going to score. He just is. He had that one first half, a good save from Sarr. He smashed one off the bar, didn't he? And obviously his goal, right place, right time. And that's the difference on the day, isn't it? A lot of people have mentioned it. They had Harry Kane, we didn't. And on another day, if we did, it's true, isn't it?
Right at the end of the first half, he had a header that he had no right to even win the header.
And Sarr
had to pull out a great save. So but that flick on should never ever happen.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Collins loses man. And
we fell off, didn't we? We fell off second half. We kind of
we did.
We were really good first half, but Spurs were only going to get better because we were so dominant first half. It's just same old story. We couldn't score, but against like you mentioned from the off, Sam, we're playing a team that are going to be pushing for the top 4, and it's just frustrating because we could have got something. And again, it's the lack of goal scoring, even with bringing Raul on and Dendoncker on that one. He should have put away, shouldn't he? When Raul stood it across to him.
It's one of those, isn't it? Because we've talked about it so much, and we talk about these new signings and everything else. But really, the difference at the end of the day is a world-class striker in Kane, but also a couple of 30-year-olds on the pitch. One of them being Perisic, who I thought was phenomenal, and at 33 years old, what a sign he's been. But also Moutinho, to come back in, I think from looking at the other 14 on Twitter, 58 minutes played, 4 chances created. It puts him at the top of the chances per 90, obviously, because he hasn't played this season. Also in there is Penalties, Neto, and Neves as well. So, chances are being created, but like we, keep saying, broken record territory here, isn't it? Nobody's finish it off.
Just on Guedes as well, he had a few really good opportunities, and he was just snatching at his chances, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
So we mentioned that he's come in. He's
player.
more of a winger. He's not really an out and out goal scorer, isn't he? But some of the opportunities he had, hopefully he can get a bit more composure and not snatch at those chances, because on another day he could have had 2 first half at least.
Watching his movement and how he picks up the balls, or picked up balls from Neves and Nunes, was really nice. He just got into the right channels and stuff. Probably hasn't got that killer instinct because he is a winger. But
that's the thing with Penalties playing in like the false 9. Some of the play, the build-up play, it was just until we got to the box, we just couldn't make it happen. But it is nice to watch at times, definitely.
The only person I thought didn't have the best game was Neto. Actually, I didn't think he was particularly
having
good
to defend a lot, wasn't he? He was being dragged back defensively a lot, I think. So, yeah, probably not one to judge him on. But like Aaron, our mate Aaron from America, he's not a fan of Neto at the moment, isn't he? He thinks he should be dropped.
I think he's got a point. I think if we and I will say that I am obviously guilty of doing it and citing Traore's form and not having any stats to back it up. And for me, Neto is no different. I think he is he's a special player. He's a talented player. He's a talented prospect. All of the sayings that we've heard all over before. But in terms of contributing to the team with assists and goals, it's not there at the moment. Traore, you could argue, changes the game because he will pull players out of position because he will naturally have 2 players marking when he's on form and when he's trying. But I think if it was the other way around and Traore was putting in some of the performances, or Penalties was putting in some of the performances that Neto has, and Penalties has backed it up so far with a couple of goals and assists in the games that he's played. So yeah, I don't know, Harry, do you agree with that? Do you think there's any truth in that? It doesn't have to be you have to be crap or you have to be brilliant. Is there a case for him to maybe even have a place in the starting 11 at the moment?
I've said so many times, for me, Neto is our best player when he's on it. So I personally think he's got to stay in the team. I get Aaron's point that he's not contributing, but we're struggling going forward anyway. And with him in the team, there's more chance we're going to start getting goals than not. So stick with him, let him have a run. He had that bad injury. He's slowly come back. But we know if he starts hitting the form that he hit before he got injured, he's one of the best players in the league. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. But that sounds like the caveat that we haven't actually used for Raul. Going. Oh, there's no room. There's no room for sentiment in football. He's not been the same since his injury.
Different injuries.
He's our best player. Different injury, but yeah, I know they're different injuries. But what I'm saying is that we're saying, he hasn't been the same since he's come back from injury. He'll be brilliant once he gets back to the form like before his injury.
I think
but, if he doesn't hit it, it doesn't hit it. Whether you crack your skull open or you break your kneecap, if you don't return to the form, you don't return to your form. It doesn't really matter what the injury is.
It's slightly epidemic of the whole squad though at the moment. We're just not. We haven't got that killer instinct that we need, and it's going to be one of those things. We saw it at the start of last season, and everyone went, "We'll be fine because we're good enough." And I'm pretty happy that we're in the same place. Just like one of those games to come up where, we just go and run through somebody. And it will happen. It'll happen.
Be nice to score.
It could even be Saturday. It'd be really nice if it was Saturday.
Well, it's a shame we're playing on Sunday.
Sunday.
Harry, was there a man of the match in there? Were you going to believe all the Kane lovers that it was Harry?
Well, if we're looking at Wolves, I think you made a great shout earlier about when Moutinho went off. It kind of went downhill, didn't it? I thought Moutinho was really, really good. I can't really pinpoint one for Wolves because I thought our defence was good as well, even though we lost. So maybe a shout for Collins, Kilman, or maybe Moutinho, one of those, if I had to pick.
I thought Nunes did well. With the context of, he arrived on the Wednesday or Thursday or whenever it was in the end, and then he's gone straight into starting 11, completely different league, never played in it before, has only ever played against English sides in the Champions League. So I thought he did very well, so a special shout out to him. Dan, was there someone for you?
Traore?
I missed that.
I said Traore.
That was terrible. I think Neves controlled a lot of the game. Moutinho played very well in a sort of a deeper role, but Neves was superb. The way he moved the ball around.
Interesting. Let's move on to League Cup Carabao Cup action. Pretty strong, wasn't it, Harry? I don't think anyone expected it to go as strong as he did. I mean, Sharkic in goal, Semedo, Collins, Kilmanate, Nori, Dendoncker, Matinho, Nunes, Traore, Jimenez, and Hwang. That should be turning over Preston North End all day, every day. It looked like it was plain sailing after 29 minutes with an absolute steam wrap from Adama Traore after Jimenez's opener. Why? That's one of yours, isn't it? From a watch along way back when. I don't say where did it all go wrong, but I mean, why is Jimenez not taking penalties to begin with? The first question.
Well, let's start with the team. We're always going to swap the goalkeeper, and it was a strong team, wasn't it? Bruno showed last year when we played Forest. He will make changes, but he'll keep it fairly strong. And what a start! I know it's only Preston, so let's not get too carried away. But good goal, wasn't it? Raul with the tap in, and then he. I thought it was Photoshop, but then he got the hook out, and I was like, "What are you doing, Brev? Like, what's this? Like, what's going on here?" And then. I mean, we've got to shout out Semedo for the assist for Adama's goal, haven't we, Bayliss? Like the flick up, the imagination. Bayliss, you going to give Semedo some props or
a very bad first touch, saved by a second touch, and then a steam rat.
What a goal, though! Like Adama, man, we give him some stick for his finish, but that was a good goal.
I was more impressed by the first goal. That's what Aït-Nouri should do.
Yeah,
get around the back to the byline and have a striker steaming in at the back post. Now, I've got to be careful because one of my bosses at work is a Preston fan, so I can't slag them off too much. But they're like 9th in the Championship. They're not a terrible side, but it's one that a team like what we put out should have gone well through them. And you're right, we were completely comfortable.
They had
6
3-0.
It'd been a different game, and yeah, but the 2 goals we scored are the sort of things you'd expect to do against that opposition. Like when Semedo floats into the box for that 1-2, he just sort of wanders in, no one picks him up, and then he gets his flick off to Traore, who just has a whack at it. Good finish, great finish. So that's what we should be doing. But let's now try and take those goals into a league game and sort of, I don't know.
Against Premier League officers.
It's a bit hollow, isn't it? It's a little bit hollow. You've gone and stuck one past.
You can't win with those ties, can you? Because you're like, we should be battering them, or it's against Liverpool or City. We get tanked. Well, obviously,
it's a good confidence builder.
It's good with through.
Potentially, it was. Yeah.
If Hwang scores his penalty, which was a daisy cutter, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh shit! It was.
If he scores that, then we cruised it. But then obviously Preston get a goal back, and then it's like, oh. But
yeah.
The most important thing is we're in the next round, and which is obviously Leeds. But like Bailey said, the 9th, they made 6 changes. We could have blew them away, but we didn't. And obviously Hwang went down for the penalty, so that's probably why he took it. But I think Bruno should be like, no, Raul's on the pitch, you take it.
That's what he said afterwards. That's what he said after.
Yeah, so
I
feel a bit sorry for Hwang, to be honest, because he can't really catch a break, can he?
He can't buy a goal, can he? He can't.
No, man, go to Leeds.
Is it the worst penalty you've ever seen?
No, not the worst, because the worst penalty I've ever seen would have gone out of over the North Bank, and it Asda, wouldn't it? But I think he kicked the floor before he hit it, didn't he? So.
Did we lose to Morecambe on penalties? That was
years ago,
like 2007 or something. I think.
But we're through. That's all that matters. We're in a glamour.
Actually, no. The worst one I saw was Michael McKindo when he missed against Blues. Last minute.
No, the worst one I've seen. You've just reminded me. I remember I went to Coventry away back in the Championship. We were 2-1 down, last minute. Ebanks Blake. Remember, he used to always go down the middle. Yeah. Similar sort of thing. He went to blast it down the middle, kicked the floor first, and it's rolled to the keeper down the middle, and he's picked it up. He could have threw his cap on it. So, sometimes they do it the floor, don't they?
Oh, a lovely bit of reminiscing there.
Yeah,
he's been linked. He's been linked with Leeds Bayliss. James Marshman on Twitter says Hwang Yi-chan to Leeds. Rumours are gathering pace. I suppose, as per Sky Sports, they report Jesse Marsh is making the Wolfstars top target before the window shuts. A few dominoes to fall in place for Leeds first, however. But he reckons that there could be some legs in that. I mean,
keep
Neto
I should hope he's got legs.
His value has diminished somewhat. Keep him and lose Huang. I mean,
yes. I mean, he might be better as an American footballer because at least they have to catch it and not kick it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So you've got more chance. What do you think, Harry? I mean, would you rather see him stay because we're going into that realm of this squad is too small? We can't really lose any first team players.
Yeah, but there's always been that link there, hasn't there? As we've mentioned with Jesse Marsh, used to be his manager, but I'd keep him. I do feel a bit sorry for him because the general consensus is he had an all right game, but everyone just looks at that penalty, don't they? And I just hope he can hit some kind of form again that he hit when he literally first come in and was he was coming off his ass and going in, wasn't it? It was a bit like a Bonatini effect where he was scoring all the time. And then it just dried up, and he needs that confidence. They love him, don't they, because of his marketing value. So I think we'll keep him, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully he can keep at it. He's not a starter, is he now? He'll always be coming off the bench, or he'll probably start in the League Cup against Leeds. But I'll look and say I feel sorry for him. I do.
Well, I think so, yeah. But if you if you're not getting the rub of the green, it's different to if you don't score in 20 games. It's a whole different level, isn't it? Dan, were you disappointed to maybe not see a few of the kids that have been in and around the first team getting a chance against this side, or do you think these new signings having as much chance to gel as possible is the best way to do it?
The latter, very much. Yeah, just get them out on the pitch playing football together and see how they can create space for one another and chances. Even if we'd have gone out there and battered them and it had to go to penalties, just creating chances is the thing. Like we looked a bit against Leeds after they scored their second and against Tottenham after they scored, we looked like we didn't know how to get up to a team that were defending the lead. So just, that's all it is.
Yeah, and I think if that penalty goes in 3-0 at half time, it's going to be a different game, isn't it, Harry?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned earlier, it's cruise control then, isn't it? But first, the main point is we're through. That's it. We're through. So there we go. And I thought quite a good attendance as well, wasn't it? Preston brought a few. I think they were up for it. So well, they didn't fill it, but they probably brought about the same as Fulham, maybe a bit more.
It's a long way to go.
Fair play. Tuesday night down from what is it like North Lancashire?
Yeah. Freddie Flintoff's territory, isn't it, Bayliss? Cricket is. So, yeah. Cricket. But we're through. Leeds next. It'd have to be Leeds, wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah. That's just what we need. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at when we touched on some transfers then with Huang potentially going to Leeds. The Times newspaper reckon that Arsenal are on UEFA's financial fair play watch list. You'd probably say the Times is a pretty good place to go for some knowledge, I would say. Harry, do you think that would play into the Neto rumours? I was talking to somebody yesterday with some close Arsenal links, who's never wrong in quotation marks, saying that it's pretty much a done deal. He'll be very, very surprised if it doesn't go through, put his house on it going through. Then you're seeing financial fair play being called into question. You look at Arsenal's bench, and I don't know where Neto fits in, to be honest. I mean, I can't see him starting over Saka. Martinelli isn't going to lose his place in the side, especially he's scoring goals. So I mean, he's benched straight away. Then you've got players like Smith Rowe knocking at the door.
I'm very surprised you said that.
What's that?
You've put yourself out on the Twitter sphere saying you've got a contact and you think it's going to happen.
Not that I think it's going to happen. He said he thinks it's going to happen.
Sorry, I thought you were talking in the first person.
Oh, yeah,
no,
I don't.
The last time we put our balls on the line about Neves, it come true, didn't it? So
that is true.
Well, hold on. How long's left in the window?
Yeah. A week left, Harry. Keep your mouth shut.
No,
I don't know.
On Neto, I think the main thing is they offered, what was it, around 30-odd million, and Wolves kind of laughed at that and said 50 million plus, please. But I saw that Arteta has been a fan since we played him in lockdown. Remember they beat us 2-0, I believe. So I think he'll stay. I can't. We've got to stop selling people. We've sold Gibbs White. Let's keep him. Maybe next year. But he's an Arsenal fan, isn't he, Neto? That's the talk of the town.
Allegedly, I mean, it's not the same.
Apparently, get off Twitter.
Yeah, so that's true. All my sources come off there. No, I think he'll stay. It'd be a shame if he goes. But thing is with Neto, he's one of them where people will be like, oh, God, if we get 50 million, maybe let him go. He ain't doing so well at the moment. But then he'll be like amazing. If he went to Arsenal, he'd tear it up. So I think we'll keep him for another year. He seems happy here. You suggest first team football guaranteed. Like you mentioned, would he start at Arsenal? He might have to build himself into that team. But then it's, will they get into the Champions League? That'd be a big thing for him on it if they can sneak into there this season. But let's hope he stays because he's a quality player, like we mentioned earlier. When he's on it, he's our best player. So let's please keep him, please.
I think realistically, when you have to think about it, and you look back over the Fosun era, or at least the Fosun Premier League era, and think about how many first team players, and this is all going to go horribly wrong now, isn't it? With 6 days left of the window, or whatever it is. But we've only sold first team players, in my opinion, once, and that was Jota, because I didn't see Gibbs White as somebody who was going to be, start, or he hasn't started for the team continuously apart from the first 2 games of this season. So it's not really something that Fosun do, is it? You got, can anyone else think of anyone apart from Jota where it's been, someone that's been at least in and around the first team, has scored over 10 goals in a season, has proven their worth to the side? I can't think of anyone.
No, I agree. That Jota one, but at the time he was kind of not in favour, was he?
No. So have they ever sold a first team player? I can't.
Gibbs White.
That's it, isn't it? If we'd have been talking about this time last year, talking about Gibbs White moving for what, 4? I've got it here, look, right? He's moved into the top 10 English transfers of all time.
Mad.
He is in the top 10. He is 10 in fairness. Can you? You got Carl Walker, 45 million. I mean, that would have been a while ago, to be fair. John Stones, Ben Chilwell, Wan-Bissaka, Ben White, Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho, Harry Maguire, and at the top is Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
42.5 million. I mean, 4.25 million I would have taken last year. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think all Wolves fans knew he had to go when that money was banded about. But like we mentioned, it's the English element, and he's fairly young, so good luck to him. I hope he does crap. But this comment I was going to get it from Robert. Surely not Newcastle and Forest are on the financial fair play list. I believe that means. Did you see? Sorry to butt in. Eddie Howe in his recent press conference was like, "We've got our hands tied. We can only spend so and so." So they're like trying to go under the radar a bit, aren't they, Newcastle, with their which we'll probably get onto in a minute. But Forest, how many players have they signed now? 15. Absolutely mental.
Oh yeah, they spent well over 100 million, pretty pushing towards 150 million. But to be honest, I mean, we've got the away perspective. Harry's going to upload it tomorrow, but if you're listening on the podcast, it'll be coming up in a minute. They've spent close to. If this one from, is it Isaac from
70 mil they want.
Yeah, 60. I think it might be 60 million. I think in the last 3 transfer windows, Newcastle would have spent close to £200 million.
That is a lot of blood money.
But the thing is, like when you think about how much they hated Mike Ashley, I think the way that he ran it, how he did, has allowed them to actually spend. That's the irony.
I don't know why I'm getting scoffed at there, Harry. I didn't kill the journalist.
It's funny. No, I was laughing. No, obviously we'll get on to Newcastle, but another link I just want to talk about. It won't go away. It won't go away. But PSG apparently want Dendoncker.
Really?
Would you? The thing is with Dendoncker, he's such Marmite in our fan base, isn't he? Like he can be so frustrated. Yeah. He's consistently quite good, especially if he gets a little run in the
against Spurs.
To be fair, that's a good shout. When he come on, he weren't the best, but before
the first 2 games, very good.
He played well. So, and obviously his finishing is very frustrating. But I kind of won't want to lose him. He's not going to be a starter now. We've got Nunes.
He's a utility player. He's like a safe type.
Keep him, man. We can't get rid of him, can we? So what do we do? Have we got to sign someone else?
Look at the last one we let go to PSG. Win the Ballon d'Or next year.
But that's obviously just another rumour, though, so that probably won't happen.
No chance. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Look, if you are watching on YouTube, look out for the away perspective with Norm from NUFC True Faith, because he actually opened up a bit about what what Bayliss has touched on really, and I was sort of asking about whether that feeling had changed for Newcastle fans, or if it's the same, or if it's got worse. And he's actually really honest about it, so it's a good listen. If it's a podcast, you'll hear that now. But otherwise, Dan's looking like he wants to say something. It's probably either going to be inappropriate or other.
No, all I'm saying is, if it was us, we wouldn't give a toss, would we?
No,
it's funny to take the mick
I did make
and
that
give it
point.
the old-
We got Chinese owners, and I don't want to say what could potentially happen in the future, with the way the world's going at the moment. But
it is funny to take the mick out of.
It is, yeah. Dan was having a bit of a hissy fit yesterday on the group. Obviously, everyone is thinking, no change there. That's completely normal. It must have been normal Wednesday. Yes, it was. But you were saying, Bayliss, 50,000 capacity Villa Park. They're an inspiration to you. You think Wolves should be doing this? I've paraphrased slightly. Just explain your thinking.
Putting words in my mouth are different.
Explain your thinking.
I said it's impressive that they've got the intention of taking an already quite large stadium and modernising it and trying to show that they're going forward. And I think it shows good intent of a football club to do such a thing. I think modernising and developing out your stadium to make it better, especially after going to Spurs on Saturday, and just how phenomenal it is. It just shows an intent and that your club's there to stay and you want to be a big player. I know it is only a building at the end of the day, but it's where your fans go. It's what people see of you, and I suppose it sort of represents you on the stage of football. So I think the quality and the appearance and the aesthetics of a stadium and how fans get to experience a stadium is very important. Some architecture waffle there, wasn't it? Go on.
Even you believe what you said then, or understood it.
I do think it's really important, and it shows good intent by Villa. Everton have done it and spending a lot of money, so that'll be nice in the Championship.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. Is it,
but it doesn't matter. You've still got that asset, even though football's up and down and the position changes each year. You still have that stadium as it is. And I just think it's a sign of a real good club trying to go in the right direction. I can't say going in the right direction, but trying to.
Do we need it?
It doesn't need to be 50,000 seater, but just something that is.
Well, tickets are going.
We are a long way behind now.
Tickets are going to general sale at the moment. Yeah, they have for the Fulham game and they are for the Newcastle game. So that tells you that the demand is there.
Unless we consistently, I think I said earlier on the WhatsApp group, unless we consistently are pushing for top 6, we're not going to fill out a 50,000 seater stadium, in my opinion.
I'm not saying we would. No. I'm saying that we could have a better stadium.
Now, if the question is, could Wolves accommodate 50,000, for example, I think yes. One club city, I think that makes a huge difference.
Big waiting list.
Big waiting list on season tickets. So I don't know why they're going to general sale. It might be because people can't afford to go at the moment, and things are only going to get worse in that sense if it's a cost of living thing.
And if it's a nice place to go, remember.
Here we
that's
go.
That's true. That's because I think we went in the Steve Bull lower, didn't we, Dan, for the Man United game, last game of the season in COVID, and you do forget how shocking getting into it is, and trying to have a drink at half time is. So I mean that's what we're pretty quite lucky with the North Bank, is that it's built to cater.
I was genuinely shocked, and I know it cost £1 billion, and it's way out of our stratosphere, the Tottenham Stadium, but just even the away fan section, how much space it is, where you sat, how good the view is, that you can stand up, how quick it is to get a beer, how easy it is to get in and out of. It's just it's what you want when you go and watch football. And I don't want to harp on about how bloody great Tottenham Stadium is for too long, but you can see how the times have changed and how the quality of it is just unreal. Now, fair enough, we're never going to build a 65,000 seat, £1 billion stadium, but you can have a go and do something a little bit better. And I don't know. I was just thinking about it as I was reading about the Villa, and I thought, why aren't we trying to make it better for people and better for us as a brand?
How long does it take them to pay that debt off? Because it's a lot of money.
You really want me to start on that?
But when you think about seasons, was it the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, I think? So Sunderland holds about 44,000 or something around that, and their season ticket revenue, and they've always been well supported, was £7 million or £7.3 million, and the interest on all of their debts was 7.2 £1 million or something. So literally all their season tickets were paying just about covering the debt, the interest on the debt. But if that is 42,000 seat stadium gets you £7 million a year, if you're trying to find £1 billion, you're going to have to do other things, and that's why you end up. Well, yeah.
Sorry, not in the last Wolves, but the first one they did. Jeff kind of just shrugged it off, didn't he? About rebuilding the Steve Ball and things like that. I think it's way off. It's so far off. They don't even.
There were some really big problems to do it.
Yeah,
as well. So.
It would be nice, but I know obviously, like you mentioned, the Villa news, but I think we're going to be having the stadium as it is for a long time to come, in my opinion. But it would be nice to build on it, wouldn't it? Especially, God, just fill in the corners or improve the Steve Ball. That's what's needed.
No, I think if they've got to do it properly.
Do you think they'll continue the project though, Dan? Do you think they'll? I mean, I know we've spoken about this at length before, but
I don't like the North Bank. I think it's really ugly. But there we go.
With Jeff Shee though, he's a bit of like a tight money merchant, and he's a bit.
He's just got splashed.
Well, he has been
$100 million in the transfer market.
Yeah, but we got Gibbs White sold, so I'm not having that. Buy, sell to buy. We're going to get our Newcastle predictions, by the way. We're off the back of the way.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I've completely forgot about Newcastle, as you can tell. Let's do it now. Why not? I mean, Harry, I think the team that started against Tottenham is probably going to be not far off. I think I'd move Johnny back to left wing back. To left back.
Bring
Semedo in, but I don't know what your thoughts are.
I think we're going to see Raul come in after scoring against Preston. Personally,
yeah, good shout.
I think he'll start. And I agree. I'd bring Semedo in, but I don't think he will. I think he'll keep Ait-Nouri there and have Johnny right back. If the 4-3-3 would be nice to see, wouldn't it? God, that rhymes. But it's going to be a tough game, man. Like their draw against City, they on the counter attack. They were frightening, weren't they? Newcastle. They had some great counter attacks, and they're finishing, which is completely opposite to us, isn't it? They were lethal with their finishing. They took their chances, which you have to against the best team in the world. So, I mean, we need to pick up a win soon in the league. It's going to get slightly worrying if we don't. And I'm worried about this game. I think I'd take a draw. They're on a high after that draw against City.
Yeah.
And I would take a draw. I'm again, it's similar to the Fulham game, really, because Fulham come off the back of a really good result against Liverpool. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And let's hope, because obviously it's a bank holiday weekend on a Sunday. Hopefully people are full of ale and the atmosphere can be a bit better than it was against Fulham. And we can take it to them and put our chances away. Because, yes, they've made some good signings, Newcastle, and they've spent a bit of money. But I think we can more than match them. Our quality is definitely on par, if not better than them. But I think they're favourites, unfortunately, just slightly.
Dan?
Yeah, can't disagree. Even though I hate them, I think they're just playing pretty well. City do leave themselves open a bit sometimes, and we've been on the fortunate end of that as well. So that can happen. But I'd take the draw right now if you offered it me.
I think, I think so. I mean, I'd like to see Raul start. I think he does bring us something, the different dimension, doesn't he, with the hold-up play compared to the other non-strikers that we have. And like I say, Semedo would probably be the one. Yeah, but I think Nunes, Moutinho, Neves is definitely the way forward.
But Bayliss, come on, Semedo, would you start him?
It's one of those. I think we need to be more defensive, so probably would.
So was Ait-Nouri the weak link against Tottenham?
We got exposed because when we were trying to push forward and score, he was just that's where they were targeting him. So I think
how many penalties has he given away this season?
We also
bear in mind with 3 games in, Dan.
I don't know how many has he given away. 1, 2. Yeah. I wouldn't start him because that's where we looked fallible. And even though he gets forward and creates chances, we aren't scoring them. So Semedo's way more defensively minded at the back, and he was solid at the back against Tottenham. So you've got to start him, but we aren't going to create as many chances. They know that Newcastle will already know that we're going to have to go down the other side. So that makes it difficult.
Interesting. Let's get your latest betting odds and ticket news, Bayliss.
Yeah, we are slight underdogs, but both sides are the right side of even money. So the bookies haven't got a clue either. So I just chucked a few out there so you can have a go at them. But the odds are pretty tight because they don't know which way it's going to go. I quite like the look of Guedes to score first 2-1 Wolves, but it's only 40-1.
I'll take that.
Take scoring a goal, let alone 2.
2-0 Nunes first goal with a Thunder Rat will be
Steam Rat.
150. Steam Rat, that's it. Steam Rat. 115 to 1.
And that's good value. Sorry, I'm laughing at Steam Rat now. Actually,
What?
I remember. I can't remember who it was. It might be
I've never heard
Traore
that
even. Maybe it was. I don't. It's definitely not a term. 100%.
So Wolves, if we turn up and play really well like we did against Tottenham, have 5 chances, it will then end 1-0 Newcastle with set maximum scoring, which is 45 to 1. And then Harry, I messaged Harry before saying, what do you fancy this week? And he wanted a 2-2 draw with Semedo to score first.
Oh God, I don't know, Babbo. Go on, give it me.
It's only 425 to 1.
420. Well, that's good. That is
Jesus.
good.
Ticket news.
Ticket news, Harry.
I'm going to make this up on the spot because I haven't looked.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what though. I'm going to give some positive ticket news. Do you know we kept going on about the ballot?
Yeah.
Entered again for Liverpool. Didn't get it, but my mate, you lot have met Lewis, haven't you?
Yeah.
Him and his dad got a ticket in the ballot for Liverpool. It gives me hope that the ballot works. What is it? 120 tickets they give away, 5,000 or something enter. So it can be done. Someone I know has won an away ticket in the ballot. So, but Liverpool sold out. There's one bit of ticket news.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much most of us are on general sale or sold out. So that's your ticket news.
Jack's ticket news is a little bit more comprehensive than that, but
yeah,
we'll hopefully have him back soon.
Fair play to you.
Right, yeah, I think that's all to talk about. It's a bit all over the place in the end. If you listen to the podcast version, I might edit my finger out and actually swap some stuff around to make myself sound competent. But otherwise, we'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Yeah, goodbye everyone.
And Harry, I know you said that it's a bank holiday and people are going to be full of ale. Are you going to be one of those people?
Probably.
Excellent news. You're training up.
I'm not a player, but if you mean, yeah, most likely.
Yeah. Goodbye from Dan.
Yeah, goodbye everyone.
Are you going to the game, Dan?
I'm not. I've got a wedding this weekend. It's very selfish of people to get married in the football season,
should stop doing
or the
that.
cricket season, or in general.
Or in general, just don't do it. They're doing it for tax reasons. And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.